It's Wednesday, January 11th, 2012. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
Hugh Jackson is out as head coach of the Oakland Raiders. Jackson was fired on Tuesday after just one season in charge in Oakland. The decision to get rid of Jackson came just 4 days after the team announced the hiring of Reggie McKenzie as the team's first general manager since the death of longtime owner Al Davis in October. The firing was confirmed by a person with knowledge of the situation. It was first reported by ESPN. It marks a rapid fall for Jackson, who was in charge of personnel decisions and coaching following Davis's death. Jackson traded a 2012 first round and conditional 2013 second round draft picks to obtain quarterback Carson Palmer after Jason Campbell was lost for the season to a broken collarbone. Palmer wasn't able to get the Raiders into the playoffs. After starting the season 7-4, the Raiders lost 4 of their final 5 games to mark their 9th straight season without a winning record or a playoff berth. Jim Bell, The Associated Press.
When you continue to lead with an iron fist, oftentimes it leaves you eating out of an empty hand. And on Tuesday, Oakland Raiders head coach Hue Jackson found out that his authoritative leadership style no longer fit the bill as to what the Raiders were looking for in their head coach. As the team prepares to go in a different direction, they relieved Jackson of his duties after only 1 year on the job. Since 2002, the Raiders have employed a total of 6 different head coaches, none lasting fewer than 3 full seasons. And since the 1996 campaign, the team has had a revolving door at their head coaching position, with 9 different men accepting the challenge of leading the Silver and Black, the most during that duration of time, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. When reached for comment in regards to his firing and the appointment of Reggie McKenzie, a Green Bay Packers disciple, as the new general manager in Oakland, a frustrated Jackson let off some steam and didn't hold back in regards to his true feelings about being fired. He's going to gut the place. He wants to bring in his own guys. No job is safe right now, Jackson said to CSN Bay Area.com as Jackson told his side of the story. As the new sheriff in town, the new general manager, Reggie McKenzie, took some time on Tuesday during his introductory press conference to explain why a change had to be made at the head coaching position in Oakland.
The legacy of the Raiders is steeped in tradition, but with all things, there comes a time when change is necessary. And for the Raiders, time is now. The Raider organization, with respect and deference for all of its tradition and history, is about to embark on a new era. This era is in the forefront right now, and I'm proud to be in leadership to moving this organization into this morning, I informed Coach Hue Jackson that he was relieved of his head coaching duties. I have a lot of respect for Coach Jackson, and I wish him well as he moves forward into his future. But as we embark upon this era of change, one thing will remain constant. That is our commitment to excellence. From this day forward, there will be one common, unified goal from everybody in this organization. From the accountants to the new head coach, everyone will have a place, and everyone will have a piece of this organization. It is my part, my job, to manage this transition, to identify what works and what needs to be done differently, so that we can play the kind of football that our owners and our fans so much deserve. Guys, my approach is old school. I'm a roll up the sleeves type of guy. Wake up early in the morning like iron workers, come prepared to get the job done. Guys, when this building is all working together, I mean this building right here, the people in here, all working together for one common goal, we will be able to feel it. We'll feel each other. That's when we know we have a winner. We will win championships here. I'm going to keep this short. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm eager to get this thing started. Thank you. We can take questions now.
Reggie, congratulations. Welcome. Rick Tittle, 95.7 The Game. Did you consider giving Hugh 1 year to prove himself, kind of like Holmgren did with Mancini, or when you came in, no matter who the guy was, even if the Raiders had gone to the playoffs, you were going to bring in your guy?
Within the last couple of days, the decision was made. The decision was made before I came in. Yes. I followed, I researched Coach Jackson and the Raiders this season this year. So my decision was made prior to this morning.
Vic Tafer from the Chronicle. So why did you fire Hugh Jackson? What did he not do that you liked?
Well, like I said earlier, decision to move forward, and where we're going into this new era, it's going to be a time for change, and I felt there was a need for change at the head coach position from the top. So we're moving into a new era. No disrespect to Coach Jackson, but is this something I want to do, starting new?
NFL Network's senior NFL insider Michael Lombardi, a former Raiders executive himself, comments on the fractured relationship and environment which existed among Jackson, the players, the coaches, and the rest of the organization. Lombardi also provides his opinion on where the Raiders go from here to fill their coaching vacancy.
Well, Reggie McKenzie obviously came in. He has the complete power within the organization, similar to what Al Davis did. Once Al Davis ran the organization, he reports to the managing general partner alone, but he has all authority on all football decisions, and he made his first decision today, getting rid of Hue Jackson as his head coach. There'll no longer be a problem in terms of who has the power. Remember, Hue Jackson reported to the managing general partner in his contract. Now, with him gone, that contract's void, and Reggie McKenzie's fully in charge.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens in Oakland. Al Davis, so influential over the league for so many years. Now he steps aside. How much of this was for an incoming general manager to get the control over the organization that he wanted, and how much was it that he didn't really seem like he didn't feel that he had the right head coach in place?
Well, I think it's important for him to bring somebody in he's comfortable with. Reggie McKenzie obviously was the only person who interviewed for the job. He was in a very good situation. Ron Wolf, the former Raider executive, John Madden, the former coach, Ken Harrock, a former Raider executive, all recommended to Mark Davis that Reggie McKenzie be the general manager and give him the authority that Ron Wolf had when he went to Green Bay. And certainly he has that authority now, and he'll bring in somebody that he's comfortable to have a daily working relationship with. And I suspect that'll be Winston Moss, currently the assistant head coach, linebacker coach of the Green Bay Packers, somebody who played for the Raiders, who's got a Raider history attached to him, and someone who's an up-and-coming coach within the National Football League. Also, I would suspect Darren Perry, the secondary coach there in Green Bay, would be joining Moss as his defensive coordinator.
We saw Hue Jackson so involved in that trade that brought Carson Palmer to Oakland. A lot more involved than head coaches, to be honest, usually get in terms of personnel moves, and especially trades like that. To what extent did that seal his fate, or is this more just a start fresh with the new GM kind of move for the Raiders?
Well, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Hue Jackson had really felt the power, and it wasn't exactly a smooth relationship within the organization. I think it was run the organization and not have any conflict, not have anyone saying that they're in charge and they're going to take over. So Hue obviously was instrumental in the trade for Carson Palmer. I think people in the Raider organization still feel comfortable with that trade, but I don't think they felt comfortable with Hue Jackson as the coach.
You know, would have been, obviously you could speculate all day long, but it would have been quite a unique situation had the Raiders, who were 7-3 at one point this year, had they not gone, 1-4 down the stretch, had they made the playoffs in that final weekend, would this have been a legitimate move and a possibility for McKenzie to make? Had this team made the playoffs, go in and blow out the coach right away?
Well, it's always difficult as an executive to relieve a coach who's made the playoffs, and it depends on how far you get into the playoffs. I mean, certainly an 8-8 record is not indicative of a normal playoff season. So I think Reggie McKenzie's coming in. He wants to start. He has a 5-year contract. He wants to start fresh with somebody he's comfortable with working with on the other side. I don't think he wants to inherit an organization. I think that was part of the interview process, and now that he has control, he can start with the coach he wants, and he can build the organization the way he wants.
The slate has been wiped completely clean in Oakland, with a new brand of Raiders football sure not to be far behind. And with Reggie McKenzie now in, calling the shots in the city by the bay, no longer will the Raiders operate under the theory of dictatorship, rather choosing to adopt the philosophy of unity, objectivity, and collaboration. It's no secret that Jackson had a deep and affectionate relationship and love for the late L. Davis, so much so that Davis entrusted Jackson with the keys to its franchise prior to his death. However, following Davis's passing, the newfound authority and power that Jackson was entrusted with went to his head by all accounts and caused him to gain a tremendous amount of sarcasm and entitlement overall, causing his demeanor to go under a dramatic transformation. However, the Raiders now want to turn over a new leaf and begin anew, a fresh start with no strings attached. With Jackson out and McKenzie now in, it gives the Raiders an opportunity to renew their core principles and redefine their commitment to excellence. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat Report.